We've had some pretty tight years, but never like this.
The drought.
I'm going to use the term they're being even more gluttonous than they already are.
The heat.
It's tinder-like conditions out there.
Bringing fires.
The fire burn is literally to within 10, 12 feet of our homes.
And then floods.
I can't get out to my house.
One extreme to another. Tonight, what Utahns face if we don't cut back.
We just want people to cut back a little bit so that there's enough water for everybody.
Conserve.
When this is gone, it's gone.
From Cache County to Kane.
Hoping to save enough water to make it towards the end of September, but it's bad. It's severe for us.
And what's severe now could be dire later. And that's where we start tonight as we look at the stamp severe weather is making across our state and the solutions to a problem where we can all play a role.
The drought, so bad in some parts of Utah, elected leaders are taking action.
Yeah, in Carbon County, officials have declared an extreme drought in the area. They're facing major crop loss and extreme fire risk. And Carbon County is not alone. Settlement Canyon Irrigation in Tooele County had about 50% of their normal snowpack this year, and the growing population is draining reservoirs. Kevin, this isn't the worst drought that we've seen, but much of the state is really hurting for water right now.
It is exceptional drought conditions around the state of Utah. And as you can see, this is the current drought map for our state with the index up top. You've got moderate drought in the entire state with severe, extreme, and exceptional conditions taking up almost 2/3 of the state. That exceptional category is the highest level of drought you can get, and we've got a core right in central Utah and down over parts of the southeast corner of our state. Droughts don't just happen through one series of storms or 1 year. They take years to get into them, and they take years to get out of them. Coming up a little later in the broadcast, we'll talk about what we can do to help with this situation and take a look at what might be coming over the next couple of months to help alleviate some of our problems.
All right, Kevin, thanks. So you can see the drought is obviously impacting much of our state. Keep in mind, Utah is a desert, and we have to do our part to conserve. Residents in Farmington were already under tough water restrictions when literally overnight, 25 million gallons were drained from one of the Benchland Irrigation Water District's reservoirs. Listen to that again. 25 million gallons of water gone overnight. Water engineers say they'd hoped to see consumption go down when they announced those restrictions earlier this summer, but what they saw was just the opposite.
Being even more gluttonous than they already are. What we're finding is happening is that the customers are taking more water when they're allowed to take it than they would have had there not been the restriction, the conservation restriction.
Farmington City says residents don't have to let their lawns die. City officials just hope homeowners cut back and water differently.
In Riverton, residents and businesses are being asked to cut back, too, by at least 25%. City officials say if residents don't, they could be forced to install meters and fees. And in Ogden, city officials are backing off the green lawn ordinance. They know it's nearly impossible to keep lawns perfectly green this year.
All right, so it sounds dire and like we've already been defeated here, but there are some solutions.
That's going on the asphalt, that's going on the concrete.
Still ahead, the patch of grass to get rid of, save water and money.
But first, the other battle Utah is fighting, a scorching and destructive wildfire season. Still ahead, human-caused and the human cost. A look at how many wildfires people are responsible for starting. With the drought and the heat comes the fire. And it's been a destructive fire season, but many of the flames crews are fighting could have been prevented.
Prevention that could have saved this state a good chunk of change. To date, this fire season has already cost at least $47 million to fight. Dozens of fires burning more than 225,000 acres and dozens of homes.
Kind of sad to see. A lot of years of time in the house. A lot of memories burned up. We just didn't know our whole world was going to be devastated and flattened down.
This was a cabin I've been working on for about 4 years. Just found out today that it's gone. So.
And Utah's not alone. Extreme heat coupled with dry conditions have fires burning all over the West. This map showing it constantly updated by the U.S. Geological Survey. Fires everywhere. Shows you just how overwhelming this firefight is. Fires in Oregon have burned tens of thousands of acres with hundreds still evacuated tonight. In Washington state, a fire that started yesterday has quickly grown to 11,000 acres.
But definitely the hardest hit state, California, where they have at least 16 large wildfires threatening 17,000 homes. 8 people have died, including 2 firefighters. Firefighters from Utah have deployed to help. They're in Redding, California, supporting crews fighting the Carr Fire, where 1,000 homes have already burned.
And as those fires burn, it is important to take a look at just how we can stop them from happening in the first place. According to the National Park Service, 90% of wildfires are human-caused. Campfires left unattended, a carelessly tossed cigarette, fireworks, again, like the drought, we must do our part. And there are simple things that we can do to minimize the chance of a spark.
Anything and everything that we think could cause a fire, let's just be careful of. Using your lawnmower in a large, dry field. One little spark can cause a fire. Any chains dragging, any metal sparking around anything.
And if you choose to ignore the risks, prepare to pay the price, including hefty fines, even prison time.
It's all up to us to protect Utah, preventing wildfires and conserving our resources.
You have to consider the water you're pouring down the drain that you're paying for.
Still ahead, simple steps we can all take to conserve water.
When people conserve water and see how easy it is, it really starts them on a path.
Whether you are under a mandatory watering restriction or you simply want to cut down to conserve, there are ways to make significant reductions in outdoor watering and still keep a beautiful yard. There are solutions.
Kevin joins us again. Kevin, I guess the first thing we need to do is not water quite so much.
That's exactly right, guys. Let me go and show you what our water watch is like. As you look at the next little bit, this is our the blue line indicates our 10-year average. And you can see, as we've added in this week's numbers, we are still 17% above that 10-year average, and we've got to bring that back in line. Water saving tips at slowtheflow.org. They've got an interactive lawn watering guide so you can see how many prescribed days you should be watering. The entire state, no more than 3 days, and many places you see people watering every day. We have available water, we just are wasting it in many, many instances. So please do your part. Even if it's just trimming back 1 day, it makes a huge difference across the state.
Indeed, slowing the flow, because most of us on the Wasatch Front use 75% of our water outside.
And according to Utah numbers, we overwater anywhere from 50 to 200%, wasting water and money. The state puts this weekly lawn watering guide online. Right now, nobody should be watering more than 3 times a week. Nick Show doesn't water his front lawn at all.
And another way to conserve, get rid of what you don't need, like the lawn park strip. Typically, a lawn park strip takes about 10,000 gallons of water every year just to keep green. Bottom line, we all play a part.
When it comes to conserving water and preventing fires in this extreme heat, there are solutions.
That's our report tonight. Have a great weekend. The Tonight Show is coming up next.